Hello and welcome to Economic Forum, where we discuss various issues affecting our economy in Zimbabwe. These can be issues to do with mining, with tourism, with commerce and industry in general, as well as other areas like education, religion. As long as there is a linkage with economic development, we discuss them here on Economic Forum. My name is John Masugu. One of the topics that we also discuss is agriculture, because it is the backbone of our economy. Most of our industries have been agro-based, and they are still developing in this new era in order, to remain viable. So today we are going to be talking mainly about agro-processing as well as issues to do with value addition. The agricultural sector, through the National Development Strategy 1, NDS 1, has potential to foster linkages in the seed to food value chain for enhanced food and nutrition security. The sector aims at producing nutrition-based crops to government with the provision of basic food nutrition diet needed to maintain a healthy lifestyle for Zimbabweans. For the pillar of agro-based industrialization, the major activities include coordinating in order to strengthen linkages between agricultural producers and the agro-processing industry, using local content strategy to increase value addition of agricultural produce, and promoting the utilization of locally produced products. Well, today we are very excited to be hosting Zororo Taruvinga, who is an agro-processor. You are into value addition and you focus mainly on our traditional foods, and also make sure that different foods are actually not lost through being spoiled because they have not been value added. Let's begin from there. Why you went into value addition and agro-processing? What benefits does one derive from there?
When it comes to farming, there are different kinds and sectors. So I took the value addition because I'm not a very big farmer. Already the people were processing the stuff, who were actually farming the stuff, and I needed to process them so it could channel into the whole value chain. So why I chose the foods that I use, let's start with the millets. Millets have the ultimate nutrition that you need. Just 100 grams is enough calcium for the day, which you actually need to eat. And they would be presented, usually we find that it's used in porridge. And so now making them into snacks, because everybody likes to have a snack. And we see that that is where we should actually do better, because that's how you introduce the foods to the young kids. And would see that the sweet potatoes that we use also are quite high fiber, and you see the madumbe that you also use, they are connected very well into our culture, where we would have them for breakfast. And if we have that, I think it keeps you for a good amount of time. And we're mainly focusing on that being nutritious, but with a taste.
We also want to find out from you how you then infused your upbringing, seeing these things whenever you went out, you're out there in the rural areas, as well as your training, because you come also out of formal training.
Yes. Looking at this, we'd see the preservation side of the foods, that they were quite perishable. And that is where it then came in, where you needed something that was portable enough to carry, and that you would eat and to remind you of home.
Now, you obviously decided to leave formal employment and go into this as a business. It was a risk-taking in a way, but you were seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Tell us about that, how you really thought that this would take you through to become an agro-processor that you are today.
Well, it was a huge risk and gamble. That's very true. And I'm still working my way around it, but it's quite rewarding, because looking at where I started with this and where I am now, I've seen the acceptance of the products and how people's minds are now attuned to a, should I say, new way of eating. people have now discovered how foods are actually quite important in our way of the choices of foods, in the way that we eat now, how it actually helps prolong your life and your health as well. This also made me looking into the business world to be actually more creative and looking around with what it is that we have, because when I started it was during the COVID time, so I needed to look and then see, you couldn't travel quite far, so it made me focus right here to see what it is that I had around me.
Yeah. Just to wind up this segment, Zororo,
Yes.
you actually got training outside the country,
Yes.
you worked outside the country,
Yes.
but still at the back of your mind, you thought of coming to promote these traditional foods, which again are being promoted by our government
100%.
through the National Development Strategy. How did that actually link up?
Well, we have a village. We have a village that our rural home in Chiduku, and it was the natural place I could think about, because you look at Naka, like what you were left with, and that is one thing that I could see in the countries that I was there. People took pride in what they had, and I thought that the people in the area, like we're looking at rural development and what it is that grows around there, it made me think that I had a safe net to actually start and begin my life and journey in a small way.
Well, that's our guest, Zororo Taruvinga, who is an agro-processor. Today, we are talking about agro-processing as well as value addition, in particular about our own traditional foods as well as traditional fruits. So join us in the second segment of Economic Forum. We're now in the second segment of Economic Forum, where we are discussing with an agro-processor, and that is Zororo Taruvinga. We heard in the first segment, Zororo, about how you started and also how your work is actually related or promoting what is being promoted by the National Development Strategy 1. The vision is the same, but you also learn some of these things from outside the country, as you said, especially taking advantage of your heritage.
Yeah.
Now, from what you are doing, how are you assisting other fellow farmers around you in order to realize more business? Because instead of just selling around, they're now coming to you, for your products, which then go to other countries and to other cities.
So on that one, we have smallholder farmers who are around me. Like I said, I'm not a massive farmer. So what they do, some of them, they take their products to the markets. But what's nice about value addition is if the sweet potato is very large, that is not maybe, let's say, the size that is required there, I get to buy that. So we are minimizing the losses that then happens, and then they supply me. I have my stuff to use. And because they are small, I can tell them specifically what I want, and then they grow for me. And for them, the confidence of growing the things for me is there because they know they're even off-taker of that.
In addition to that, you've also managed to showcase some of these things that you are doing here in Zimbabwe,
Yes.
these Zimbabwean products coming from Zimbabwean fruits,
Yes.
and also other Zimbabwean farmers, at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair,
Yes.
where there will be many exhibitors and buyers, as well as in Mozambique. Tell us about how you went that far.
Well, I was quite fortunate to have my product that I had that time, and being from Manicaland province, which is where I originate from, there was an opportunity that was there to go and showcase in Mozambique. Yes, because there was the FACIN, which is their equivalent to ZTF, and me being being a greenfielder, I needed also, that was my platform to actually go do market research, to see how, because that was a platform that had different countries, and to see for them coming through and then tasting and them telling me their suggestions and stuff, it worked out in a way that that is what I went there for. And I would be seeing other products that they brought from their countries, how they package them, how they present them. It gave me a platform that was amazing because I was an employee and now I had to meet up with entrepreneurs, people who were representing their countries. Yes.
And locally, you have also exhibited at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair.
Did.
Is it on the same pattern, the same things that you took to Mozambique, or again, it was something different that saw you at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair?
Those are the very same products.
Yes.
Because my focus was wanting to see how things are outside and inside, and it was not going to be even fair for me to actually put more effort to the people outside and forget the people that I share the same heritage with. So ZITF also, because there were different countries and different people from our various regions, it served the same purpose as well. And it was actually much more fulfilling because I could see how, how it is when you've got the support of your local people. You just feel as if it's something that is actually quite profound. So it went very well as well because from there, the feedback that I got and the interactions that I got with different companies and individuals, it made me quite grounded on what I have, and then to tweak it here and there and to make it better.
What is also important, Zororo, from what you are saying, is for young entrepreneurs like you, including female entrepreneurs who are still budding, and those who may be at higher stages, to know that there are government bodies, government departments that can assist you, and you can be identified from wherever you are. Like in your case, you were identified from Manicaland. Yes. Just talk to us about the importance of working through the likes of Zimtrade, the SMEs Association, and others in order for you to be visible.
I would say that is very important, and it gives you a cushion. If we talk about Zimtrade, they had to give us some training when it came to exports, and to look at the women's affairs. They were there to support. Like I said, they helped me to go to Mozambique as well, and then exhibit under the Zimtrade. Yes,
capacity building, support.
Capacity building, and because the Zimtrade thing that we did, it was a group of ladies. Everybody had their small businesses, so we understood each other. It was a nice, safe space where we all had to learn from there, because some of us would be coming from backgrounds of being employees or never owned businesses. So it gave us a guide through that, and the associations, and then we actually ended up having a cooperative with some of the women that we have, because you then see after you finish that you need something that carries you through. So I now belong to a cooperative, a Taumba cooperative, which it is a group of ladies that we, from some of my suppliers, are coming from the cooperative level as well, and it's still under the Ministry of Women's Affairs. So it's a chain that you should always be in. And every time you go and get something, you then see that those bodies and those individuals, they will understand you, because maybe our businesses are the way budded almost the same time, and the challenges we go through, and we pull each other here and there, they give us strength.
Yes.
And there's, like you said, there's strength in numbers, and being women, it actually helps because we understand each other at that level.
Yes. Zororo, when we come back, we'll still continue with the same issue. Yes. In particular, even the financial support that is available, that you got yourself in order to promote your business, so that fellow women and fellow entrepreneurs know what government and parastatals and other government-related bodies do assist entrepreneurs with. Sure. So join us in the third and final segment of Economic Forum. As we promised, that in the third and final segment, we're going to begin with how Zororo Taruvinga, our guest today, benefited, in terms of funding and other support, especially through government ministries, provincial, bodies, like you gave an example that in Manicaland there's something that sent you to Mozambique, and that can happen to people from other provinces as well, and it's very, very important to know. But let's go specifically that businesses such as yours, do you also get funding for these value addition businesses as an individual entrepreneur?
I would say, from my experience, the funding that I got it under the Ministry of Women's Affairs, and it was under the Rural Development Fund, which I received. You received the loan, and then you repay it back because it's something that must be paid back, and then it gets to help another business as well.
But it's something that you encourage others to take up.
100%. It's good to do so because, like I said, being a greenfielder and everything growing organically, like the business growing organically, you would need a bit of support.
One of the most important things in your business is compliance. You have to be health compliant, and the standards have just got to be up because you want to send your foods to various supermarkets and to various institutions. In terms of your products, these value-added products that you're manufacturing in order to get trust and and confidence, what did you go through?
I think starting from compliance, it's about registering your business. I think that's one of the basic things that you actually have to do. So SMEs, I think everybody must be able to register because there are certain benefits to it. And when you register there are different certifications which you must actually go through, and that also comes to the health, the handling of things, and also where you work.
And the products that you're dealing with mainly are products that are found from your home province,
yes.
Which is Manicaland, like yes. Madumbe. Well, but others you have to get from other parts of the country.
Yes.
For instance, Masao maybe plenty in other, in other parts of the country.
Yes.
How then are you coordinating with other citizens, other farmers, in order to make sure that you work together and you get whatever you want for your products that you are value adding?
Right. Some of these people I met them through WhatsApp groups. Was like I said, it was during the COVID era as well. So those are WhatsApp groups where people would be, talking from people from different provinces. I'm bringing this, I'm bringing that. So it actually, the network that I said from WhatsApp groups, from the groups that I'm affiliated to, and some of them would actually have to subscribe to. So it would be a trusted circle.
Zororo, what has been the market response to these products? Has there been any way of shunning them, or they are generally acceptable across the board?
There's been mixed feelings when it comes to that. But I would say the market, that segment that I'm focusing on, or that I'm focused on, has been quite receptive. And it's actually quite beautiful when you then turn somebody who was not a believer into a believer. Yes. So what we've been trying to do is having tasting tables that before somebody buys, they get to taste and have a feel, whether they're going to buy or not. But for them to understand that there's something new on the market, so they get to taste it, and then that keeps in their minds, and then they'll then make a decision to say, actually, I would like to have this, whether out of curiosity and some out of connection with the food, because what it gives is connection in that, when you want to fit into your nostalgia, is that the word?
Yes.
Yes, you can actually connect to that. So we've got all those things. So getting people to taste, making to smaller packets has been helping.
How about the places of origin? Someone knows Masao, somewhere something that you're picking from the trees, and suddenly Zororo comes with a bottle, of a Masao product. How are they then accepted, back in those communities?
There is shock sometimes. Say, this can't be true. And then there is also that sense of curiosity. And then there's a certain part of those people who actually have thought through. Other person would be like, this is something that I actually hoped that somebody would actually turn it into. So going back into the places, that is one of the most amazing and fulfilling thing that people will tell you, I only used to just eat these and then spit out. That is all that I used to have it. But since I can have it in a different form, they get wowed and then they give me more push or an urge to actually do better and showcase to them even before I take it to the market.
A very interesting story, listening to your journey and how you started formally by training in the culinary arts,
Yes.
working in the industry,
Yes.
and then branching out to say, look here, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to be focusing on traditional food. So
Yes.
now, in the month of March, we promote the work and celebrate, women folk.
Thank you.
Now, talking about you, what is it that you can, say to your young women folk about venturing into business, just to encourage them during their month?
Wonderful. I would say in this month of March, if you have anything small that you want to do, there's never a right time and the right economy to do something. So just do it. And especially if it is passion driven, go for it. And if you need help when it comes to groups that can, because it's not every day that you wake up and feeling all zesty when it comes to business, you also have doubts and you have days that you are down, belong to a group that will actually encourage you, especially the people who are in the same line of business or people who inspire you. Get mentors, subscribe to groups that actually give you things of substance towards your goal.
Well, we'd like to thank you very much, Zororo. That's Zororo Taruvinga, who is an agro-processor. She has been telling us about value addition, how she has been value adding some of our traditional foods as well as fruits in order to come up with business that is actually attractive to some higher echelons of the market. What remains is to thank you, Zororo, and also encourage our viewers to get in touch with us on the numbers that are showing on the screen. And if they would like to engage with us about some of the things that Zororo and other people who come to this program talk about, they can do so on the social media platforms that are showing on the screen. If you would like to engage with us to find out more about some of the things that we discuss here, or even to suggest some of the topics, you can do so on those social media platforms. If you have missed some of the programs, of course, you can watch them on our YouTube channel, which is Economic Forum Zimbabwe. So on behalf of our guest, Zororo Taruvinga, as well as the production crew, this is John Masugu wishing you happy viewing.